Okay. This is just kind of like a general update video. In the description, there's a link to the latest photos, and I mean, it's not like the most exciting thing in the world, compared to the last version, but there have been a lot of changes and a lot of bug fixes, some optimizations, things like that. But basically, but like I said, I just kind of wanted to talk about just general stuff that's been going on. So, as a follow up to the Sony TV debacle, Sony recently released some new firmware updates for that X900H a TV and others. And the funny thing is, like as I predicted, it still doesn't work right. If you run at 120 hertz on those things, they're super blurry. So high refresh rate basically doesn't even work. And apparently variable refresh is still not working properly. So as I predicted, here we are. It's October 2021. And even though Sony has already launched their next generation TVs, they still haven't got variable refresh working correctly on those things, even though they sold them basically, promising that that shit was going to be in them. So yeah, good job, Sony. It's good to know that you can deliver the goods. I mean, really, Sony is just such a trashy company. It's just another example of how conflicts of interest are always bad for consumers, because basically you have a company that's selling a video game console, but they're also selling televisions. And so if they have a crappy television product that doesn't support variable refresh, they have a financial incentive, a conflict of interest to not support variable refresh in their console, because if they do, and then their television competition supports it, basically their competition ends up having an advantage over them in their TV market. So like I said, it's just another case of where if somebody has a conflict of interest, it's going to be bad for the consumer. So Sony blows. Big shocker. I was right about that again. And Also, like, nothing to do with gaming, but I saw, don't ask me why, but I watched that new Dune movie, and oh my god. I mean, like, honestly, video games are kind of over, but movies are just as over, man. Like, they just. I mean, really, like, movies just. They blow. They blow because they're all made for China. They can't make a movie that actually has intelligent dialogue in it, because then it'll be too hard to translate and people in China won't be able to understand what the fuck is going on, and so it'll bomb. So you basically can't make good movies anymore. I mean, it's why you don't have comedies, like Airplane or Naked Gun anymore, because you can't fucking translate them, and they don't play in China, and all fucking movies are made for China now. So that's great. But in any case, so getting back to Dune, you know, I just don't understand it. I really just don't understand, like, how they cast these movies. So Dune, just like at a really reductive high level, is basically a series about how it's dangerous to put all of your faith in charismatic leaders. And I just find it fucking hilarious that that's what it's about. And they pick some fucking weird ass looking cardboard cutout guy to play Paul, Atreides, and it's like the whole fucking point of it is that it's supposed to be about charismatic leaders. So why would you fucking cast a charisma black hole to be your fucking lead in the movie? I just don't get it. I mean, I'm just watching this thing, bored to fucking tears, and it's like nobody would follow this guy. Who did the casting for this fucking movie? It just blows me away. And for some reason, in every two movies that come out now, you're gonna see that little girl who plays Spider-Man's girlfriend in the new movies, and I have no idea why they keep fucking casting her. She's box office poison. She can't even read lines of dialogue well. I mean, every fucking line of dialogue that I mean, she only had like 3 lines of dialogue in that movie, and somehow it was still embarrassing because she can't fucking read lines. I mean, she doesn't have an actor's voice. I mean, like, every good actor has a voice where they can basically read embarrassing lines of dialogue and not sound stupid. She doesn't have it. Like, she just, she sucks. But for some fucking reason, she's in every movie that comes out now. It's fucking embarrassing. Like I said, the casting killed that movie. Poe Dameron from Star Wars or whatever that dumb character's name is was, Papa, Atreides. I don't know, man. I really don't know. It's fucking embarrassing. But yeah, I mean, but basically, it's one of those things where it's like the worst of both worlds, because basically, there were kind of there's kind of like two ways that you could go about it. You could just kind of focus on what little action there is in those Dune books, and just kind of make it exciting, but not really faithful to the book. Or you could, make it really faithful to the book and fucking boring, and that's the route they went. But the whole problem with that is the original books aren't exactly super deep or compelling on an intellectual level. It's kind of, like, they're kind of made for teenagers. It's it's like, oh wow, you shouldn't blindly follow authority figures. Wow, I learned that when I was fucking 11. It's not exactly the deepest stuff, and so you end up with this thing where it's fucking boring, but at the same time, there's nothing really philosophically interesting about it either, and so it just isn't very compelling, and like the pacing of the movie is just so bizarre, because because like I said, basically the way they ended up doing it, they didn't really flesh out any of the characters. Like, basically nobody in the movie really had any personality, and you really had no attachment to any of the characters. The only actor who did a good job in the movie was the gal who played Jessica. She actually did a good job and played the part about as well as she could have, for what she was given. And that isn't what you want to hear in a fucking Dune movie. You don't want to hear that Jessica was the best performance. Like, it's... And like I said, they spend like 40 fucking minutes just on all the background shit, from the book that honestly doesn't even really matter for like a dumb Hollywood movie. And it's just so pointless, because it's like, okay, so they waste all this time on it, but at the same time, the characters aren't really fleshed out. And so there's just no point. Because like, you don't give a shit when anybody dies. It really means nothing to the fucking story. And so I just kind of feel like it ended up being the worst of both worlds, where it's both shallow and boring, Whereas if they just kind of like streamlined it and actually restructured stuff a bit to work in the context of a Hollywood movie, it could have at least been paced in a way where it had some energy and was kind of exciting. You almost could have basically like opened the movie when House Atreides gets attacked. You almost could have just opened it there, and just after like a brief Star Wars crawl style introduction. At least then it could have kind of had some energy and kept shit moving, and it wouldn't have basically ended before anything fucking happened. But there we go. It's another fucking work of 21st century humans. So apparently it's gonna fucking blow. I don't know. I don't know. I mean, like I said, maybe I'm just, fucking, cynical and bitter about all this shit. But I'm sorry. I didn't find it compelling, And the thing is, I actually kind of like the director who directed it. Generally, I've liked most of the movies, that director made. I liked the Blade Runner sequel. I liked Arrival for what it was. Even though if you actually think about it, the story's stupid. But I'm just saying, generally, I like what he's done. And so I think, I don't know, like Dune, I think is just... really, if you think about it, like, Dune literally is a fucking, sand trap for movie makers. It's fucking quicksand. These movie makers... for some reason are just obsessed with Dune, and people just keep wanting to remake it. But honestly, like, I don't think it's worth it. It's just, And the whole thing too, it just kind of, I mean, basically, like the movie blue balls you because on the one hand, it's spending all this time setting everything up, and it has all these, long, boring shots of the same shit. I mean, it's like, the movie has like 5 minutes of dream sequences where, you get to look at, Spider-Man girlfriend, and it just belabors everything so much, and by the time it's over, nothing's even happened, and you have to think about it. I mean, like if you look at the original books, there really isn't any payoff, for anything until like the God Emperor shit. And I'm saying that there's no way, there's no possible way they're gonna make that many movies. There's no way that these movies are gonna make enough money to go that far. So it's pointless. So the whole thing is a setup for no payoff. I don't know. I don't know. But I'm sure everybody you talk to will say, oh, it's the best fucking movie ever made. Oh my god, it's so great. I love everything. I don't know, whatever. But yeah, I think they need to get over Dune. I think it's time to flush that turd and just admit that it just doesn't adapt that well for the movie medium. You kind of have to do it in like a TV format. I think they had like a TV miniseries at one point, but it also requires like a massive budget to actually do it to the point where it isn't embarrassing. So it like I said, it just feels to me like it wasn't meant to be. It's just like a bad fit for anything other than just some teenagers books. But yeah, no, I just wanted to get out in front of that thing. I mean, and the other thing too is, I mean, really, like I kind of judge movies in some respects the same way I judge games, where like if a game doesn't have replay value, even if it was kind of fun to play through once, I will dock it, some points on that, because really, like I honestly believe that good works of art really can't be spoiled, and they hold up, under repeat viewings or repeat playthroughs. And I was just thinking about like this Dune movie. I mean, especially like if they actually make a part two, or actually make more of them. I'm just saying, I just can't think about any scenario in which I would ever want to watch this first part again. And given that it's like that, it's like, what is the fucking point of this? I mean, it's just like I said, it's just like a setup. It's basically just an introduction to this universe, and it just falls so flat because like Dune is already so much a part of pop culture. Everybody basically knows what happens anyway, so there's really no excitement. You kind of already know what's going to happen, so it isn't exciting, on any level like that. And I don't know, like I said, I just don't think it works. I don't think it works. I think that shit is doomed. And I guess it's like, good try. It has. I mean, the sad thing is, as embarrassing as this sounds, my favorite part of that movie was the fucking costume design. Like, I as a heterosexual male, I'm actually saying that about a movie. Now that's when you have a fucking problem. Oh, the costume design was like, the costumes were, pretty cool. I mean, that's pretty fucking embarrassing, man. Like that should not be your takeaway. And like I said, it's just, oh god, the casting. I mean, they brought in the wrestler from Guardians of the Galaxy, and the dude who plays Aquaman, and I'm thinking, like, why would you put these people in a movie? They can't even read lines of dialogue. Yeah, I don't know. So in any case, that's that. So much for fucking Dune. And oh yeah, and fucking Elden Ring was delayed until February, so that's great too. So there's like another month until there's a commercial game that I have even a slight interest in. I don't know, man. It's not. I mean, really, it is crazy. Oh yeah. And I didn't even get into it, but fuck Metroid Dread 2. I might actually make a whole other video about that one, because that is just like, I can't believe the fucking pass that game is getting. So in any case, whatever. See photos in the description.